Okay, we need to talk about the Mad Lions Fnatic series because it was awful. Before I enter that, it's worth saying the fire alarm is still out of battery. I cannot access it. It's on the other side of a locked door. And the guys who actually maintain the building and have access to spare keys are basically just refusing to do anything. Allegedly, they were supposed to come 2 days ago. They didn't. And so you'll hear a beeping every like minute or so. I've done everything I can to try and keep it as quiet as possible, but in previous recordings you have been able to hear it a little bit. Hopefully it's not too much of an issue. But anyway, our second and third seeds, unless G2 somehow lose to Fnatic, despite Fnatic looking so bad, played yesterday. And game one was awful in every sense. Mad Lions had a shit draft, and they couldn't do anything to try and win the game after like the opening 5 minutes. There were lots of mechanical mistakes, especially from key players. Stupid decisions that were made by both teams, whether it was macro or whether it was just in laning. It was awful. I hated every second of that game. It was one of the worst games in a best of five I've seen, and I've been watching LJL, CBLOL, LLA a lot this year. Game 2 had a marginally better draft. Still some weird decisions, in my opinion. But it was like nothing more than we're sort of used to getting from pro players. It was felt more like comfort rather than just plain stupidity. There was even some clever play out of Trimby early on, but it just went downhill thanks to Fnatic like abandoning Noah when Matt made a semi-clever play, which literally only worked because Fnatic don't know how to look at the minimap when they place after they placed a ward. And then also later on, Razork on Natalia stole kills from his ADC when literally that kill would have got Noah the gold to get his Kraken Slayer, which was 10 times more important than any gold that Razork was going to invest out of that kill, especially in that moment. Also, I guess it didn't matter that much though in the end because Noah kept getting caught. Humanoid was literally playing like 136 ping whilst on stage. And Niski, late on, threw away all of Hylissang's good play in an extended fight, like tanking all the damage, distracting two carries. And then Hilly sort of set light to that bin because he just decided to int 5 minutes later. There were some good things in this game though, like Trimby's hooks were quite effective. And that Razork play late on Natalia, that made me cream my pants. But still awful. After game 2, it looked like it'd be such an easy sweep. Like, when watching live, I literally clocked out the stream. I was just like, it's going to be 3-0. This is an awful series. Hopefully, the game tomorrow will be a bit better. Game 3. I feel like the drafts here weren't bad on paper. But ironically, despite my push for diversity and like drafts as a whole, like I really enjoy seeing different drafts. I think the Fnatic just pushed the boat out too far for them when it came to this game. Like, especially when you're using a temporary sub. Like, I know Wanda's a very, very good player, don't get me wrong, but he's still a temporary sub at the end of the day. He's not your first team top laner. I mean, honestly, you've been doing better with him, but... the first blood fight, Mad Lions started playing so much better. It was so much better than they had all year. Healy got the semi-sacrificial flash at the Q as well to protect his ADC later on. But the ADC, like 3 minutes later, him and Kazi literally just died under enemy's tier 1 for no reason. Noah's mechanical mistakes at this point really started to get a little concerning. But Hilly and Trimby continued to make really good plays. Razak also made some good plays, but Fnatic as a whole just seemed to keep making the wrong decisions. Like, why were Fnatic flipping that Baron that gave the penta? Like, why? What are you doing? Why are you there? You don't need to be there. Okay, your opponents might go Baron. If they do go Baron in the current situation, unless they get a pick, you probably win unless they make a really good turn, right? Even when you're that far behind. Also, Jace continued to be fucking useless. I mean, as LS put it, Jace is the defender of tomorrow because you know you're going to live. Like, really has got to that point. Kazi, to be fair, popped off in that game, and he really took advantage of basically every mistake Fnatic made post like the early game. I can't lie, game 4, Fnatic kind of buried their draft with their last 2 picks. It wasn't a bad draft. Their last 2 picks being the Zeri and Rakan. They also just kept trying to make proactive plays way before Xerath was online, which just really hurt Humanoid. Like, Humanoid didn't have a great series, but when Razork's trying to make a proactive play and you're not even like at a stage where your champion can make those proactive plays because you don't have the damage, it's gonna fuck you up, like in the game. he had another good game. And Niski did really well in the fight that was at like 16 minutes. Kaji on the Callista is definitely a problem, like in the good sense. He just is so good on it. Kazi did get a really lucky, like the luckiest red buff healing sequence I've ever seen to stay alive in one of the fights as well. But Kazi and Hilly, like, man, they were so good in this game for relative to the rest of the series and the rest of the team. There were lots of kills in this game, which is like really good for a viewer, I guess, until you start putting like an ounce of thought into why they're dying. You're just like, really? I see this in silver games, man. I see players not make this mistake in silver games. Obviously, I'm not a silver, but you get the point. I am nearly challenger. I'm not challenger because I don't play enough because I'm a dick. Anyway, game 5. Trimby was so lucky that Mad made a mistake and he played well over the first blood. Also, why was Humanoid? Humanoid really got on my nerves this series. Like, as I said, he got fucked over in game 4, but he really started to get on my nerves. Like, why is he still now, having been pro for however many years, having been one of the top mid laners for one season, being on one of the top teams with well, I was about to say some of the best coaching. As far as I can tell, a lot of league coaching is really bad, but some of the most expensive coaching who will definitely do a lot of analysis. Why the fuck is he still farming mid lane when his team's setting her up around Drake? Literally any Chinese team, any good team with a semi-aggressive comp just collapses on the rest of the team. Your team gets ace. The rest of your team gets ace before you can even turn up, and that's just game over at that point. Like, why? Also, Mad Lions then went and flipped a Baron completely unnecessarily. It sort of worked initially because their DPS, they literally got the Baron. But then their decision to half run, like, why were they half run? Why not just fully flip? You chose to flip the Baron, right? Because you see it's your only chance of winning the game. So why the fuck are you turning to fight? This game really pissed me off. Really pissed me off. Like, why are you turning to fight? The whole reason you're doing this is because you know you can't win a fight. Are you stupid? So yeah, it was really in play. Noah also finally popped off within this series in that fight for the 5th Drake, which sort of made up for the rest of his otherwise bad series. Also, one question I've really got to ask: Mad Lions coaching staff, more to the point. How was Ivan allowed through the banner phase in game 5? Are you mad? I get not picking it away from them. How are you not banning it? Are you mad? Anyway, that is my overview of that game. Hopefully the fire alarm will stop working. So, stop working, honestly. Stop beeping is what I'm really saying. So that I can make a longer video. Because even this 7-minute video, it will have gone off, well, nearly 8-minute video. It will have gone off like 8 times. And yes, I could edit it all out. But are you really going to sit there, pause, have a timer and pause every minute? Anyway, that's enough rambling. See you in the next one.